Hey y'all, what's up? Jess here, LJ on Farms. Welcome to the channel. So if you've seen my recent video I did on adding work lights to the tractor, I mentioned in that video that I was wanting to install a light bar to the front, and I've decided to go a little bit different direction. I've decided that instead I'm going to put a larger light bar up at the top of the cab, and the main reason for that is I got to thinking, if I put it right up front, when I get a hay bale on the front loader on the spears, that bale's probably going to be blocking most of the light anyway, and that's going to defeat the purpose of why I want to add this light bar in the first place. So for that reason, I'm going with a larger one up on top of the cab. Now before I get the LED wired up, I'm going to add something that'll make future installs that much easier. So stick around because I think you'll like it. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get the LED mounted and make sure all that's good to go. So let's do that right now. Alright, the light bar is mounted, as you can see right there, and we'll hop up there in just a minute so you can see more detail. So I don't know if you caught the video where I did the work light upgrade. Check that one out. But in that video I had two different styles of lights. I had these flat style and then I had the pod style, and I've had these on the back and I actually like that style, so I went ahead and put those on the front. I just like the way those throw the light a little bit better. It's a really good flood pattern. Hop up here and I'll show you the rest of it. So I don't know if you can tell, but I just used the mounting bolt for the pod, the work light, and I just got this piece of flat stock here, just metal. Now there's 100 different ways that you could go about this and get this mounted on here. I tried to just think of the most simple way that I could get it done. I was looking at L brackets and slotted brackets and mending plates, things like that. And this, I found this scrap that I thought would probably be about the right size. It's a little bit long, but I can come back and cut this off and trim it and make it look a little bit nicer. But anyhow, I just have it extended out here because this light was hitting the back. If I had mounted underneath, it was hitting the windshield if I tried to use these stock brackets. So I had to do a little bit of modification to kind of bring this light out from the away from the tractor a little bit. You probably can't see there, but I've got a little bit of a space right here, and I didn't want it rubbing on this roof plastic, or if I had it underneath, I didn't want it rubbing on the windshield. So there is a little bit of a gap there, and there's enough that I can rotate this light up and down to fine tune it. So yeah, carrying on here, I just used the existing hole and bracket. This was already here on the tractor, had a hole in it, so I used that to mount this piece of metal and secure it. And then I got these on here temporarily, and I put my light up here, kind of centered it, and then marked my holes. I went back to the vise at the shop and drilled those out, and then just got the light up here and got it screwed on here. I mean, it's pretty solid. I don't see it really going anywhere, but these tractors do vibrate a lot, and the pasture is pretty bumpy, so I may go ahead and drill another hole back here through my new piece of metal and the factory bracket, just to give another secure point to keep this light from, it can potentially move this way a little bit, left or right, but these are tight, and it's not doing it right now, and I'm pulling on it pretty hard, so I think that's going to be okay. These new lights, I just need to stick some bullet connectors on those to mount up to my factory harness here, just like I did in the first video. So I will grab some of those and throw those on right quick, and these new lights will be good. And the next step is just hooking up, running my power wires for this. And I've got a special thing I'm going to show you on that. So let's go ahead and get to that right now. Okay, so the next step in the process is I'm going to mount this main fuse, because I'm going to be running a number 8 gauge wire, a main power wire, back into my cab. And you'll see why here in a little bit. But I'm going to mount this up here. I'm still waiting on my wire to come in. But as soon as that gets in, I'll be able to wipe this install out. LED and fuse block project appears to be done. I got one thing I need to do on my switch up there, and I'll show you that when I get up there. I figured this would be a good time because I have the roof kicked up there. I think most cab tractors, especially this one, there's used to take bolts out of the bottom, holds that top on, and you can pretty much get to anything up there that you need to, at least for this smaller tractor. And I think that's true with most of them. So let's start at the front here. Now, nothing fancy. I just came in. Now, I didn't have to put a ground on the battery, but I decided to go ahead and do it. That way I know I've got a good ground at my fuse block, and I just don't have to worry about it. So I got the positive tied in to my positive cable, and I put a kind of an automotive, or like an audio style fuse here. It is a blade fuse. I think that's is it a maxi fuse? It's like just a big blade style fuse. And so it basically comes right off my battery, goes to this fuse, and then probably can't see it, but there's a rubber grommet right here. I just poked a hole in that and just ran it right through that, to the metal plate of this base plate here, this metal plate, but it's protected by that rubber grommet. So that runs along, comes up here, basically just kind of ran along the starter wire. So I put it in loom, so that's why you can't hardly see it, but it's in wire loom underneath the tractor and running up into the cab, just for extra protection. So I'm going into the back of the firewall there. And let's hop on up in here. Grab my light, maybe we can see in here a little better. There we go. It's hard to see in here. I'll get a better angle here in just a second. But I came through the firewall. Originally, I had planned on putting my fuse block and stuff inside here, but there's nowhere to mount that thing in there. Even though I got the smallest fuse block I could find, it still takes a little bit of room to do all that. So I looked and looked for another area to do it, and opted over here on this other side of the cab, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So my hot wire, my positive wire comes in to another rubber grommet here on the back of the firewall. Right here, you can see it. And then from there, I immediately go into this power relay. And I talked about that a little bit earlier. And here are the wires that are actuating this power relay, basically. That's my old wires from my third function valve, and I repurposed those to actuate this power relay when the key is switched on. And then on the other side, that just goes out over here to my fuse block. So let me jump over here and I'll show you that. Okay, as you can see, here is the fuse block. I just have 2 circuits in it for now, but let's see, there is, I think, 6 spaces in here. So I've got room to add a couple circuits when it comes time to do that if I want to. I've already got another one I'm going to add. I think I'm going to put a fan in here just to circulate some air. So I can run my wires right to this and just tie them right in. I'm good. So my power wires are coming here. Now there's foam underneath this rubber mat, and so let me see if I can show you. And so I just kind of carved out a place in that foam and ran those wires and just came right up into this block. All right, I took the cover off of this fuse block because I wanted to show you kind of how it's set up. It's pretty cool. And this is the smallest fuse block I could find that had both positive and negative studs on it, and terminals. So you can see my positive wire is coming in right here. Actually, I need to change my wire on my light I just put on, so because it ain't gonna work. That's the negative side. So you can't tell here, but inside this plastic there's a little bus bar that runs from this stud basically to this side of each fuse. So it's connecting all these fuses together. And when you put this fuse in, that supplies power from that fuse to these terminals individually, each, respectively. So that power comes in on 12 volts, hits this fuse and is sent out on this terminal. Hits this fuse and is sent out on this terminal. So each of these outputs is, if you want to call them outputs, are fused by these fuses here. Now this is the negative terminal, or negative stud, and there's no fuses for the negative, obviously. But what it does is it just ties in straight to these screws over here. So if you bring your two wires in, you can land one on your positive fused side and then land the other on the negative side, and you have a complete circuit that is protected by a fuse. So pretty cool. I like this little fuse block. They use these a lot in automotive and the hot rod type stuff, and I just thought I'd apply it to the tractor world. So I just thought I'd kind of explain how that's set up, laid out, and how this is supplying power to the circuits. So this is my mount for my loader control. This is, like an 06 tractor, and these older ones, they came up in the floor right here. All your new ones, they're gonna be over here on this right side console. But this is one of the older ones, so the mount is right here. Now, this tube is hollow, and then where this tube meets the base of this cab is actually a hole. So my control cables for my loader valve come up into here. Well, that's where I'm running my wires for these circuits. I'm coming up in the bottom of the cab, just coming up right here, and I'm tying in. So this new LED, well, first of all, I had an existing circuit, which is my third function valve, which is right here. So those wires come up, go underneath the cab, come up through that hole, come out here and tie in. And then the LED light bar that I just put in is right here. So that's going to the same place, the same hole. Now, the corners on most of these cabs, I'm pretty sure, are hollow, and that's how they run a lot of your wiring and stuff. And like this, I think maybe like a drain tube for the AC or something. So they use these hollow tubes to run that type of stuff. So my wire for this LED, my power wire, is going up this tube all the way to the top. And then, so let me hop right up there and I'll show you that. So here's my power wire, and there is an indention on the corner top of this cab, so that you can sort of run stuff right through here. It won't smash it. There's actually a gasket that it'll hit right there, or like a rubber foam piece of rubber, weather stripping. So here is the wiring harness that I had. It's a NILIGHT, same brand as the LED. And it actually comes pre-wired with a relay. It had battery terminals and a fuse on it. I cut that off because I've already got all that right there to tie into. So I need to kind of dress this up, put a few more wire ties on it, but just to give you an idea of what I got going on here. So I have two wires in this harness besides the power wires. So I got the power wires, those are hooked up, and I went ahead and hooked my ground here for that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Some circuits I may hook my grounds and positives together down there on the fuse block. Some of them I may find a local ground and then just run a power wire to pull power off that fuse. So I've got one wire here that's going over to my LED light. It's going over to that corner because that's where my power wire comes off my light. And the other wire is coming over here to my fuse, the switch. The switch is pre-wired. Now with the switch I have a couple options here that they give you. So, if you can tell, I have a spare red and a spare white. So which one of these you use and put on this spare terminal right here determines if you have an LED on or off before you switch the light on. So using this red wire, which is what I'm going to do, this button will actually be lit up, and then I hit the on switch and it'll actually light up the other half of it. With the white wire, it won't be lit up at all until you turn the switch on. But that's one reason I put in the power relay, because I wanted that fuse block to be switched switched on with the key switch. So that's what you call a switched power versus non-switched power, which would just be available to be on all the time. But I wanted this fuse block down there to be switched, just to eliminate any current draw and potentially run the battery down that I'm not aware about. So like I said, I'm going to put the red wire on here. And then I'll tape this one up. I got tape in my pocket, I think. Yeah. So I'll tape this up. It's covered, but I'll tape it up just in case. And then we'll be done up here. And I can lower this top back down and run my screws in, and we're done. So here's what I was talking about that light lighting up. I'm gonna turn my lights off. Turn these off. So all my lights are off. And you can see this LED is this one LED is lit up. That's because of that wire in the back. If I'd used the white wire, then it'd just be black until I turned it on. Or nope, nothing would be lit up until I turned it on. And you turn it on, and that light lights up too. The whole thing is lit up. Well, all right, it's dark here, and I waited a little bit after dark so I could put out this hay and actually do a little test on it. And hopefully it comes through on this camera and through this cab. You're already probably seeing some reflection because of the windows in here. So this is kind of what I run into when I'm feeding in the dark. You can see this dark spot right here. So this hay bale and the loader is blocking my lights, my headlights. And I have the side lights, and that's good for these edges here, you know. I mean, I can see out there really good, but there's always a dark spot right up here. So I'm gonna turn this light on and test it out. But before I do that, I just want to say, if you made it this far, thank you folks for watching, hanging with me. If you enjoyed this at all, helped you out any at all, do me a favor and smash that like button, hit subscribe. It really helps out this video and the channel. And just wanted to tell you guys thanks for watching. So anyhow, here we go. Here's the dark spot. Hopefully this comes through on camera. So there is the light bar. This haze right here you see is my exhaust. But so I'm gonna put the belt all the way down. Man, that is a whole lot better. So I'm always afraid I'm gonna run into something with that dark spot in front of that bell. And I know I can raise it up. I can raise the bell up, but that gets dangerous because on the back side over there I have a lot of hills and dips and things like that. And if you want to tip a tractor over, put a bell on the front of your loader and raise it up as high as it'll go. So, try not to do that. That's why I put this light bar on here, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's with it off again. There's with it on. That is awesome. Man, I got a light all the way around me now, so feeding in the dark is not a problem. This project took a little bit longer than what I wanted, but a lot of that was because of the fuse block that I installed and having to run that wire and hook all that up. And like I said, it was a little bit of work up front, but it'll pay off in the future, because any other devices or lights or things like that I want to power, all I have to do is just run up to that fuse block and it's a done deal. I've already got the power, I've already got the fuse location there. So hopefully it'll save me some time in the future, even though it took a little bit more time to get it installed. So anyhow, I'm going to end this video here. I Again, thank you guys for watching. Smash that like button for me, hit subscribe, check out some of the other videos. God bless, and we'll see you guys on the next one.